Ahead of his return in his massive crossover clash with Anthony Joshua, here is 10 things you need to know about Francis Ngannou. Okay, here at number 1, Francis Ngannou is actually from the mountainous village of Bati in Cameroon. Now, Bati is famous for its production of sand, and Francis Ngannou actually started off in one of Bati's many sand quarries at the age of just 10 years old. Here at number 2, where did it all begin for Francis Ngannou? Well, at age 26, he travelled to France with the view of pursuing a career in professional boxing. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out that way for Big Francis, as he was detained for 2 months in Spain for illegally crossing the border by sea. At number 3, now, after Francis Ngannou reached Paris, he had no money, no friends, nowhere to go, and unfortunately had to fend for himself, living homeless on the streets of Paris. Now, while Francis Ngannou was living in Paris, France, he enlisted the services of Francis Carmont, who pointed him in the direction of a certain Fernand Lopez, a Cameroonian living in Paris, who took Francis Ngannou to the world-famous MMA factory, where he was able to hone his MMA skills. Number 5. In November 2013, Francis Ngannou would start his professional MMA career. Signing with the French outfit 100% Fight, Francis Ngannou would compile a 5-1 record as an MMA fighter before signing for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Now, with the hype starting to build around Francis Ngannou, in December of 2015, he would make his UFC debut, knocking out Luis Henrique in the second round of their bout to get things rolling in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Now, in terms of fights that put Francis Ngannou on the map, there really can only be one fight and one punch in particular, which of course was the uppercut that knocked out Alistair Overeem at UFC 218 in December of 2017. Considered by some to be the scariest knockout in UFC history, Ngannou's power and potential were clear for all to see. Number 8. Despite having lost by decision to Stipe Miocic in January of 2018, Ngannou would fare much better in the rematch in March 2021, knocking out Miocic with a thunderous shot in the second round to become the UFC heavyweight champion and complete his rags to riches story. 10 months after beating Miocic for the UFC heavyweight title, Francis Ngannou would defend against the interim champion Ciryl Gane. This fight at UFC 270 in January 2022 saw Francis Ngannou go the distance as he won a decision over Gane over 5 rounds. This, of course, will be the last time we saw Francis Ngannou in a UFC octagon. Number 10, and finally on our list of 10 things you need to know about Francis Ngannou, was his professional boxing debut, stepping in the ring with unbeaten WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. Despite entering the bout a significant underdog, Ngannou would shock the boxing world, uncorking a massive left hook that dropped Tyson Fury in the 3rd round before going on to lose a razor-thin split decision in a bout that many people felt Ngannou deserved to win. So that's 10 things that you need to know about Francis Ngannou, and of course, those 10 things have led us here. Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua, March the 8th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Can Anthony Joshua restore the pride from boxing, or will Francis Ngannou prove that that shot against Tyson Fury at the end of last year was no fluke? Let us know who you think wins in the comments, and we'll catch up with you on March the 8th.